What if I told you that as everyone is distracted by this SEC case, what happens next? The real moves are happening behind the scenes. That's right. When we look at this SEC case, it has been nothing but a ton of wasted time, a ton of wasted breath. And I want you guys to understand that right now, we are about to witness something very significant after the next 2 months. And why do I say that? Well, it's because we are going to have a new president. We are also going to have a new SEC chairman. And in this video, I'm going to be explaining why. So with that being said, welcome to the channel, everyone. My name is Nick. For those that are new to the channel, hopefully by the end of this video, you do become a subscriber. Now, let's take a quick look at this. So everyone has been, pushing this. They've been, saying, all right, that's it. This is going to lead to a settlement, this, that, whatever. So Ripple filed the civil appeal pre-argument statement, Form C. The relevant pages are below. Now, again, everyone has been following this case for the last roughly, almost 4 years now, and not much has come from it, right? XRP is obviously deemed not a security by the court of laws. So, when we think about that, yes, XRP is clear, but the Ripple institutional sales of XRP are still in question today, which is the number one thing that this case is still really kind of ongoing about. At the same exact time as everyone is really kind of looking at this, they're, following it heavily. Brad Garlinghouse and Stuart Alderati already have been telling everyone, listen, we believe that the SEC is things are going to change drastically around the SEC. And yeah, they are. Listen, we are so close to the end of this year, and 2025 seems as though it's lining up perfectly for regulations around crypto to really start to heat up. Now, we also have down here that I'm so confident that we're going to win the appeal, and that would really put a dagger in Gary Gensler's whole agenda around crypto regulation. This is what Brad Garlinghouse said in response to the question if the case is going to go all the way to the Supreme Court. He also added, honestly, Ellie, I'm not losing any sleep over it at all. I'm so confident about it because I believe we're on the right side of the law. I think we're on the right side of history. And yeah, listen, as we really look at the SEC, they have dropped the ball heavily here, but it's also because this is all by plan, in my opinion. Everything is aligning perfectly around the world for regulations to actually catch up to the technology. And I think that that's what this entire case actually was all about anyways. If we actually go over here, Ripple XRP CEO says US will be more pro-crypto after this election, no matter who wins. And yeah, listen, no matter who wins, we are going to see a very significant shift in the entire scenery around crypto regulation. But listen closely to what Brad Garlinghouse is saying here. Big shout out to Bank XRP for this. Check it out.
The Biden administration's approach to regulation of the crypto industry, that is coming to an end for sure. And I think no matter where this plays out at the presidential level, we'll have a more constructive engagement with this industry. It's a critical industry, it's an innovative technology, and I think the United States should be at the forefront and leading, as we did with the Internet of Information. I think we'll get there. As I said yesterday at the Philadelphia Federal Reserve, I think Gary Gensler's reign of terror on the crypto industry is going to come to an end very soon. For the crypto industry, I think it's clear that the Republicans at a macro level have been more proactive in saying this is an industry that needs clear regulation. You have seen a Republican-led bill in the House pass with 71 or 72 Democrats crossing the aisle to support that in a very bipartisan way. So I think we have seen a more Republican-centric but I also think you've seen indications that the Harris campaign wants to reset some of the very flawed approaches that the Biden administration has had with the crypto industry and other parts of technology. So what I'm optimistic about is we're going to see a change. We're going to see a reset. And I think we need that at the federal level. The United States, there's no question, the United States is behind other leading countries like the UK, like Switzerland, like Singapore, like Japan, that are way ahead in providing constructive and clear regulation and rules of the road for this industry.
And he is 100% correct here. Listen, if we look around right now, Netherlands is seeking input on crypto tax monitoring laws to align with the EU. again, remember what I said about Mika. It is going to accelerate everything. Also, the UK, crypto firm Circle expects the UK to introduce a stablecoin laws in months, not years. Also, industry stakeholders cautious as Argentina drafts new crypto regulations again. They're open to, pushing regulations as well. Japan, as we really look at what's going on here, we are starting to see major moves being made around regulations within this space. And this is only going to continue to heat up, in my opinion. And I think everyone should focus on this because it's not so much about what the SEC is doing. You need to focus on what's happening outside of the US because all of this is going to put pressure on the US to finally start moving forward on some of these major moves because we need a regulatory framework. It will most likely be coming from the FSB. I've outlined this so many times on this channel, and that's still a big focus from my point of view. But also, it wasn't just Brad Garlinghouse. It was also Chris Larson. Big shout out to Subjective Views. Here we have Ripple's co-founder Chris Larson calls out Senator Warren and Gary Gensler. The good news is I think we're on the twilight of Gary Gensler's reign of terror. So wait, Brad Garlinghouse is now saying Gary Gensler's reign of terror on the crypto industry is going to come to an end very soon. Now we also have Chris Larson saying the same exact thing. Check this out.
Basically can't sell into the U.S. market even now because U.S. companies are like, well, the SEC is appealing. And, they don't understand exactly what the SEC is appealing, but it just is, it's a reason to say, no, we don't want to fight that fight right now. We'll wait and see what happens.
Yeah. I'll just add, very clearly, I think the approach that Gary Gensler pretty much directed, let's just call it who was behind it. Senator Warren, I think, was on a mission. She's literally called this the war on crypto. Was on a mission pretty much to destroy the industry, to hobble the U.S. industry by using regulation by enforcement rather than creating clear rules of the road. And what the industry has always asked for is like, just make the rules clear. Just tell us exactly what those rules are. We want those clear rules, and the industry can thrive. Consumers can be protected. That's not the approach they took, I think, on purpose, because the attacking the industry on these are all securities, it never made any sense. These are not securities. They don't have rights and privileges. The developing teams that made them don't have obligations. It fits the commodity model fundamentally, and I think they know that. But again, I think it was an attack on the industry to hobble it. Now, what was the effect of that? It just empowered a bunch of sketchier, overseas firms like FTX, which turned out to be a total disaster. So net on net, you didn't protect consumers. You hobbled the U.S. You empowered, industries in Singapore, in London. You didn't create any jobs in Ohio, for example. So it didn't make any sense. And the good news is I think we're at the twilight of Gary Gensler's reign of terror. It's just about over. And I think whoever wins this election, it's going to be a fundamentally different thing.
And yeah, listen, as we really look at what's going on here, the SEC's time clock is ticking. Gary Gensler will be replaced, in my opinion. There's no doubt about it. Even if we go over here, we have how Gary Gensler gets fired from the SEC. Congressman French Hill touched on the complex process of potentially replacing SEC Chair Gary Gensler, citing dissatisfaction with his approach to crypto regulations. He suggested that a new SEC chair could be appointed by the next administration, potentially under Donald Trump or Kamala Harris. And again, I do think that no matter who we get, the SEC's days are numbered because this industry is going to continue to move forward. But I do believe that 2025 is the year of regulations. Every single nation outside of the US, every massive governing body group out there is now pushing for regulations within the next 12 to 24 months. And this is not something new. This isn't a new timeline. I said this back in 2023. So this is still in process, right? We're still waiting on it because, again, it's 2024. And also, 50% of states adopt the first legal framework for digital asset ownership. The UCC is a standardized set of laws designed to streamline business transactions across the U.S., simplifying sales, loans, and contracts across state lines. A recent UCC update introduces regulations for digital assets such as cryptocurrencies, ensuring that they can be legally bought, sold, or used as collateral under clear and enforceable guidelines. As documented below, 25 states have now adopted the UCC crypto amendment, marking the halfway point in its implementation across the U.S. Before stablecoin digital assets gain federal recognition, they are being legitimized at the state level through these UCC laws, which are the first to provide ownership protections for digital asset holders. We're halfway there. And here we actually have the post. We're halfway there. So listen, no matter what happens right now, everyone should be ignoring the whole SEC case nonsense and focusing on the facts. Regulations are accelerating with or without the SEC. But check this out. This is from Congressman French Hill. And big shout to Thinking Crypto One as well, Tony Edward, for this.
It's very common for presidents upon their inauguration to write executive branch officials and invite them to consider resigning in place of a new appointee. And look, I don't think Chairman Gensler has done a good job at the SEC, particularly in the area of digital assets. It's my hope that a future President Trump or a Kamala Harris would make a change at the top of that agency and engage someone else that is pro-innovation, uses the powers of the SEC for exemptive relief, where they want to experiment in one of these new areas and build consensus on the commission instead of being so adversarial by saying, well, just come in and register. That is not an appropriate position for the commission. And so I hope in 2025, Tony, that we'll have a new chair for the SEC, regardless of who wins the presidential campaign. It's very
And we definitely will. Listen, I think that everything is aligning perfectly for 2025, 2026 to be, the two major crucial years of getting this right. And then from that point on, this space is going to accelerate very quick. I don't think people realize how much is being held back behind the gates of regulations. Okay. And, the gates have been building up in terms of pressure. And once we see regulations, boom, everything breaks through. Enterprise adoption, institutional adoption, growth of this entire asset class, it is going to happen so fast. It's not me trying to get your hopes up. We have witnessed this time and time again in history once things start to get regulated. From that point on, there's no slowing down. It just gets faster and faster and faster. So as we really look at what's going on here, yeah, everyone is getting distracted by the SEC. I think that Brad Garlinghouse and even Chris Larson are really telling you like what's going on here. And then when we combine it with what's happening outside of the US with regulations, we now have the elections here, right? They're knocking on our door. I think it's only a matter of time until Gary Gensler's out and we start to see very big progress being made within the US. I think initially though, stablecoin regulations are like the big crucial thing to focus on, because I think that this is what is going to really begin things and set everything in motion. We do know that Mika has accelerated stablecoin adoption, stablecoin regulations, and even regulatory talks about crypto as well. So, all it really takes is one big framework to be pushed to accelerate everything else. And that's exactly what's happening right now. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys do, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on if you guys have more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.